Hello and welcome back to Fairweather Trains. Today we're going to look at two silly cheap locos we picked up from a recent toy fair. They're from a guy who often has cheap locos that we get from him. They're not necessarily something you're particularly looking for, but they're so cheap and good runners and usually interesting, we often pick them up. So these two are both Lima, and he charged us £20 for the two. So let's bring in the first one and see what we think. I mean, they've got to be terrible to be not worth that, haven't they? But let's have a look. I've not looked these up, so I don't know what they are or how old they are. So any information would be gratefully received. So this, I'm guessing, is a Swiss Railways engine. A 12-wheeler. Let's have a closer look. Presumably it's a class 111. Let's have a look on the front. It just tells you there, doesn't it? Let's zoom in on that. I don't recognise that logo off the top of my head. You can see the painting's pretty good. It's a bit fuzzy, but I'm guessing these are quite old. There's metal buffers. Coupling's got stuck, there we go. Metal buffers, lights. I think the lights work. The big old hook and loop couplings. I think the detailing on this is pretty good. Print works nice. Yeah, I'm guessing this is a class 111 or something along those lines. So I don't know. I'm not aware of what the CFF and FFS is. I don't know. Or it could be Italian, I guess. Yeah, you can see the wiring through there, so that's nice and realistic. But I like the colouring, I like the livery, I like the shape of it. Another light there, I wonder if that one works. I keep knocking the camera for some reason. Yeah, I think this is quite nice, got decent detail on the top. Metal pantograph. It's got traction tyres. Yeah, traction tyres, the old see-through ones, which is nice, and made in Italy. So they're not connected. No, none of them are drive wheels. Those middle ones are loose as well, so it's just those two drive, and presumably, like most Limas, one side picks up at the back and the other side picks up at the front, or something crazy like that. Well, as you can see, I know this works, so I think what we'll do is I want to have a look inside, see what it's got in there. I'll get the top off, which I'm guessing, if I look at this, like most Limas, it's just a click off there. Yeah, there we go. I wouldn't normally do this on camera, but I think this might be relatively simple. There we go, yeah. So that's the standard Lima setup, isn't it? Pancake motor. Yeah, it looks like there are lights on this, yeah. Half a ton of scrap metal to weigh it down. Yeah, some electronics there for the lights. Yeah, so I think with the lights, it's a bit of a step up from the UK Limas that never seem to have lights. Yeah, it looks alright, doesn't it? Let's put that back together and see if it works. Well, I know it works, but see how well it works. I haven't done anything to this. But then, as I say, the guy who got this from, I think he gets older ones and does them up. Let's get it on the track if I can. There we go. Right, let's see if she wants to work, or how well it wants to work. Yeah, the lights are working. It's got that crunchy rice crispy sound. I think what we'll do is we'll send that round, just see if it'll go round. I'm sure it will. Let's just back it out of here. Manages to handle its own Lima crossing, I'm glad to say. Right, we'll leave that going round and we'll have a look at the other one. Right, that Swiss Railways one has had a few laps. I've turned it off because it's still a bit noisy. As I say, this guy, he often has Lima ones that he's done up or whatever. They're always like European rather than British ones. And because they're European, some of them look quite interesting. So this is the other one we got, which was part of the 2 for £20. Let's bring this one in. Now I've no idea, or had no idea, what this livery is. Apparently this is South African. I certainly have no other engines with a South African livery, but apparently that's what this is, and I believe it's an E919, which is what it says on the side, strangely enough. But I'm led to believe that's what it's actually called. It's very, very boxy, this one, as you can see. It's got a double pantograph. They're good quality pantographs, these are actually metal, but I don't think you can run it from them. But as you can see, it's a very boxy, square looking thing. It's all moulded detail pretty much, I think. Bogies are pretty good, look. But because I've certainly not got one in this livery, and I thought it looked quite interesting. Plus the price might have helped. Yeah, I like the red sort of plough on the front there. Let's bring it round. Light up there. Didn't notice that working, I must admit, when I tested these. Yeah, it's different, isn't it? I mean, not sure what's gone on there. Needs a bit of a clean. Maybe get that off with a bit of water, perhaps. Maybe. But yeah, I think the stripes are nicely done on the front, and the loco type there, just under the window. Be good if that light works. That's the only lights, though. Yeah, they're not lights down the bottom. Yeah, Lima, Italy again. Any traction tyres on this one? Oh yeah, a very thin one there, look. That's obviously not quite the right one. So this may have a bit of a wobble, which I hadn't noticed. Yeah, my only South African loco, and my first one. So we get the top off this and see what's in here. Looks like it's the same clip, tight fitting. Yeah, a bit more tricky to get off that one. Another big chunk of metal in the bottom. But again, another old ring-filled, Lima ring-filled. No lights fitted on this one. Oh, that's a shame. Look like there should be, but no. Have a look in there. Well, it does look a bit like a light channel, but yeah, don't look like it. Anyway, no surprises inside. Let's get this back together and we give this one a run. So let's give this one a run. If I get the right controller. Oops, bit of a jump start. Similar Rice Krispie noise, although it may be a little bit quieter actually. Yeah, it does have a bit of a wobble, which is probably the traction tyre. Right, so we'll get this one out on the main line and give that one a run too. So I've tried to find some suitable rolling stock for both, which obviously I have no South African rolling stock. So he's got some old Electra-Tren wagons, including the nice wooden wine wagon at the back. So we'll send that one off. And the nice red and white Swiss loco, also a class 111. I don't have any suitable coaches for that, so we've got some nice Fleischmann red and white lit coaches for that one. Send him round as well. Take a little bit of heat out of that one because that was getting quicker and quicker. Well, no problems with both of them. I've got to say they were worth £10 each without a doubt. They've both started to run better the longer they've been going, and I think considering I haven't done anything to them, they may need a bit of oil and a bit of grease. They can only get better, can't they? But yeah, 10 quid for them, even if you don't know what they are at the time, is too good to miss really. This one's bit of a jump starter, that one. I think this one will creep a little bit though. Maybe. Yeah. It's got a bit of a creep in its arsenal. not so much. You can slow it down into it a little bit. It won't start slow, but anyway, as I say, with a little bit of oil if it needs it, a bit of grease if it needs it, maybe even clean the wheels, which I haven't done either. They're only going to get better, aren't they? Yeah, I think 2 Limas for 20 quid, that's an absolute bargain. Absolute bargain. Even if you don't model this type of stuff. Could you really turn it down? I don't know. I mean, I run anything, so it's ideal for me. And I love trying out new ones. Yeah, it's not gonna creep, is it? So anyway, there we have it. 2 Limas, 20 quid. An E919 from South Africa is the close one. And the other one, I think, is a class 111 from, I'm guessing, Swiss Railways. But I'm not sure. I mean, I could look it up, I guess, and sounded all knowledgeable, but this is how they came. This is how much I knew about them when I bought them. Well, I didn't even know that one was South African. Just an odd livery that I'd never seen before. So, thanks for watching. If you saw these at a toy fair yourself for a tenner a pop, would you have bought them? I think he had them up for actually 15. And because I've had stuff off him before, he said you could have them both for 20. But yeah, if you saw these up for, one of these up for 15 quid, would you buy it yourself? I'm pretty impressed. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Don't know what we've got coming up next. We'll see. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.